What's going on, guys? We're back again on the 87 Xtra Cab Build. My most scaled, detailed build yet. So, got a few things today. We've got our MrCommaD 22RE motor, and it does not quite fit in there with the GCM mount the way it is, but it looks like if we flip this mount around, the servo will move forward enough and give us enough room to clear the fan. This motor is pretty nice looking. It's got a lot of little details. Haven't figured out how it quite comes apart yet, so we're going to do some exploring on that today and try to get some paint going. Also comes with a fan shroud to help hide your servo. Not sure how that'll fit in there yet. We'll have to see when we get there. Also got a coolant and windshield washer reservoir. Not sure if you can actually put liquid in these or not. I'll have to see. I didn't really do a whole lot of research on that. As well as a brake master cylinder. And we've got a wiper motor for the firewall. So, yeah, the motor's got to come apart, and we've got to try to smooth out the 3D printing a little bit more. It's not bad at all. Certain pieces are printed nicer than others. Like our valve cover is printed with very little grain on it. The fan looks pretty good. Probably won't paint the fan. Just needs a little, add some detail to it. Paint the block and stuff like that. I do want to do the valve cover red to match the truck, but we'll see. I don't know if I have any more of that red actually. Crap. So we'll cross that bridge. I also have some Jalon 2 front shock hoops. I stole the ones off of this for the C2X because I didn't have any. I was waiting on these to come in. And I'm also going to move the body mounts back. This body does require the body mounts here to be moved back to a further hole, and I like that set up a lot better than like the Blazer, and I think the 4Runner even had plastic stuff that extends these out. This just rearranges a little bit and makes it pretty sturdy. So also I already painted the grill and the bumper black, but my buddy 110 Rod Shop got me some of this really nice paint here. That's the stuff he used to paint this trim on the body, and this is much better stuff, so we're going to respray those today. The bumper had some imperfections in it anyway, so I've already sanded that and cleaned it, and it's dried for a couple days, and it is ready to spray. The grill, I just need to dust real quick, make sure there's nothing sitting in it, and then we can work on getting this thing together. Alright guys, so first test fit here is not so well. I did go ahead and swap out all four of the body posts because they were just 2 or 3 millimeters longer than the other ones, and I figured let's go ahead and do it right. One issue you may not see clear here is the rear body mount. It's really just a thing that slides over the shock mount, and my shocks are mounted on the most inboard screws, so it's not allowing that to slide into place. The obvious issue we're having here is the front servo. So I flipped that GCM servo mount out, and it did interfere. This truck had the aluminum bumper mount. It's not the plastic one, so I couldn't just trim a little off the back. So went in and took it off. We are running the body mounted bumpers and stuff on this. We're going for the full scale on this, so we're not really, not going to need that. So I do have some new rear shocks and front shocks coming. Might as well go ahead and take those back ones off, get that aligned, and then we can see how much we need to trim out of this piece. This thing here is kind of a universal fit deal. We can trim it down as needed. We'll just have to see once we get this down. It's probably going to have to take a little bit off the bottom of it. But I just threw a motor in the scale motor, and it's just kind of sitting in there. It's a little crooked. I haven't bolted anything to the actual engine yet, but I think it's going to look pretty nice. It's lining up pretty well, so I think we'll have plenty of room for that. But we'll do some measuring here and trim my beautifully painted front piece of the body. Gotta do what we gotta do. Alright guys, got that all taken care of. Got a nice clean cut. Fit perfectly around the servo. And the grill and stuff's just sitting on there, but it all has enough clearance. No issues there. There's still almost half an inch behind the grill between the servo. So, yeah, no trouble there. One thing, the servo wire did have to go inside the engine compartment. But if we can use that fan shroud, we can kind of hide it. You can barely see it there. But that's the way everything lined up, so that's where it's going to live. Next step is to get that motor out, start taking it apart, and see how bad it's going to be to paint. I'm never very patient with any of this stuff. It's hard for me to really take my time, so dealing with 3D printed, like I said, this one's pretty smooth compared to a lot of the stuff I've used in the past, so hopefully it won't be too much work. Plus I've got some new primer. Let me show you that real quick. The 110 Rod Shop hooked me up with a whole bunch of really cool stuff. This is the bed liner that we used. I talked about it in the last video. The SEM paints. He swears by those. And I did that trim black, and he gave me this for primers, the high build gray primer. And he used this on 3D printed stuff, and he's got some pretty smooth looking prints, so we're gonna give that a shot. But let's get this thing torn apart. Alright guys, got the engine in. This is the Scale Designs by MrCommaD 22RE. It is 3D printed and worked out pretty well. My friend Dustin gave me some of this primer. I don't know if I talked about it because I've been doing this over a course of the day. High build. That stuff is fantastic. Great for 3D printed stuff. Still got a little bit of grain to it. I didn't spend any time sanding it because it's all tiny little special shapes and stuff, so it'd been real tricky to sand. But if you really wanted to, you could sit there with some of those little Q-tip sanding bits and really get down in everything. But it looks good enough. I'm happy with it. Let's take a look under the hood real quick. See, I left some stuff unpainted. The fan, distributor, the water neck, some of the little tiny pieces of oil filter on the side that you can't even see, and just left those the colors they were because everything was kind of printed in cool colors. He offers it with a gray or a red valve cover. I had the gray because I was going to paint it red anyway, but yeah, it didn't really matter. The header on it looks pretty good. We'll have to come back with some radiator hose, and it's even got spots here you could run plugs and injectors and stuff. Not sure yet if I don't have a steady enough hand for that today, but we got the base of it together. You can see we're definitely going to need some inner fenders. I have those other scale items from MrCommaD. I've got the coolant overflow tank as well as the brake booster. Probably going to need some inner fenders. I can't remember. I think the coolant tank's over on this side maybe. I don't remember. I'll have to do some research on that. Everything fit right in. I did have to trim a couple of blades on the fan to clear that cross member that we've got going down there with the GCM scale trans setup. And that also, I could not put the starter on the truck because the mount was right there in the way, but you're really not going to see it. But yeah, I've got some more painting to do. I need to paint the inside of the body black. I'm going to use this real nice satin black stuff we've got going on the grill. And I'm a little scared to paint that because I need to mask off the outside of the body. This beautiful shiny finish I've got to be very careful with because I'm terrible at painting. And I got to paint the bottom of the interior that color as well because you can see some of that from the engine bay. And you can see some of the brown overspray from the interior. So still lots of work to do, but it's coming along pretty nicely. I've got some different stuff coming from RC4wd drive pretty soon. Got a bumper for the rear, I think, and some different shocks and stuff like that. So we're going to add some detail to it. Got some different ideas. I'm digging the stance though with these GCM mini mag wheels. So those wheels and tires I think fit the bill perfectly. And yeah, just taking my sweet time with it, trying to do as much detail as I can and make it as nice as I can. Unlike everything else I ever build. But wrap it up guys. I appreciate you watching and keep scale. See y'all in the next one.